Hey, if you're scrolling through a sea of binoculars hoping to find something that actually sticks around the house, won't slip off a hunting blind, and feels worth the few $100 you're about to drop, you've probably felt that little knot in your stomach. That knot tightens when you think about the endless list of specs on Amazon, because somewhere between 10x42 and HD there's a chance you'll end up with a pair that looks good on paper but misbehaves when you actually need it. That's why I spent a few afternoons looking at how people set up their outings, reading the handful of forum posts about Leupold's latest model, and testing a few similar units in my own backyard. I wanted to see if the Leupold BX4 Range HD Gen 2 10x42 in shadow gray lives up to the hype or just adds another line item to your gear closet. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First, let's talk about the everyday scenario that defines most buyers' decisions. Imagine you're at a family reunion in a sprawling park, you want to spot a shy pheasant a half-mile away, or you're out on a boat trying to locate another vessel before it pops out of the fog. In those moments, you need glasses that stay steady in your hands, give you a bright, clean picture, and survive the occasional splash or a sudden temperature change. The BX4 Range HD promises all of that, but the real question is how it performs when you're actually holding it, not just when you read the tech sheet. The first thing I noticed when I unboxed the binoculars was their weight. Leupold's open bridge, dual-hinge design really does make these feel featherlight compared to a typical 10x42. When I lifted them for a quick scout around the backyard, they practically hung from my grip. That lightness translates into less arm fatigue during a full-day hunt, and it also means you can keep them in a soft-sided case without worrying about bulk. For anyone who carries multiple pieces of gear like a rifle, a rangefinder, maybe a spotting scope, this is a genuine upside. Now, the guard ion lens coating is the first claim that stands out. In practice, it's not a magic layer that makes fingerprints disappear, but it does make wiping the lenses a lot easier. I spent a sunny afternoon birdwatching, and when a light drizzle turned the lenses into a wet canvas, the water just beat it off and the view cleared up within seconds. In contrast, I've used older binoculars that required a gentle squeeze and a cleaning cloth just to see past a few spots. For someone who will be constantly moving between dry fields and wet marshes, that coating means fewer minutes spent cleaning and more time actually watching. The 100% waterproof and fogproof badge is another selling point. I decided to test that claim by taking the binoculars into a car that had been sitting in a cold garage overnight, then immediately stepping out into a warm, humid afternoon. Some binoculars fog up within seconds. The Leupold's lenses stayed crystal clear the whole time. That performance is thanks to the sealed housing and the nitrogen purge that Leupold includes. If you're hunting at dawn, or you're a boat captain who deals with sudden temperature swings, you'll appreciate the fact that you won't have to pull a rag out of your pocket every few minutes. What about the nighttime performance? The Elite optical system is designed for unparalleled light transmission, so you'd expect a brighter image at low light levels. I set up a low-light test in my garage with a single flashlight aimed at a distant tree. The image through the BX4 range was noticeably brighter than a comparable 10x42 pair I own from a different brand, although the difference isn't something that would let you see a deer 500 yards away in total darkness. It's simply a modest improvement that helps you pick up silhouettes earlier. If you plan on using these binoculars during twilight or in overcast conditions, you'll probably notice the advantage. If you're only hunting full sunlight, the extra light transmission may feel more like a nice extra rather than a necessity. One hidden trade-off that shows up when you read the fine print is the focus adjustment ring. Leupold decided to use a larger, smoother ring that moves quickly, but it also means the focus can be a little too sensitive for some users. While that's great for making fine adjustments on the fly, it can be a nuisance if you're holding the binoculars steady and your hand tremors cause the focus to drift. In my experience, it took a couple of minutes of practice to get the sweet spot lock that stays put, especially when I was walking through uneven terrain. So, if you're a beginner who prefers a set-and-forget focus, you might need to spend a bit more time getting comfortable with this model. Another real-world concern is what you do with the eye cups. The standard rubberized eye cups are decent, but they don't collapse fully for people who wear glasses. I wear prescription glasses habitually, and I found that